בשם השם נעשה ונצליח, שיעור תורה, ברוכים הבאים. We are back to our Sunday night shiur of the Jewish HaShkafa. We are, I believe, in number 8. Last week I said it's number 6, but really it was number 7. So, apologize for the mistake. The shiur today will be for a refuah shlema for Rav Ephraim ben Shulamit, Rabbanit Sarah bat Anat, Rabbanit Levana bat Sarah, David ben Esriya, Doris bat Jora, Esther bat Zipora, Dvora bat Mercedes, Elisha Chaya bat Sarah, Serach bat Batya, Batya bat Sarah, Yitro ben Avraham, Ovadia ben Levana, and all of Am Yisrael Bezot Hashem will have refuah shlema, refuat hanefesh, refuat haguf. So we have ourselves a few interesting updates of some of the things which of course connect to the shiur as usual. B'siyata d'ishmaya. The team, Baruch Hashem, went out on a mission last week during Lag BaOmer and after to make a major chalukah, major distribution of the new CDs that we have, which is a double CD. One is a DVD of 9 movies, which includes the Hashem Took Back His Millions movie that Baruch Hashem has passed 1 million views at this point, Baruch Hashem, between the different channels, the Facebook, the YouTube, and so on. And every day, Baruch Hashem, every day there's new people that send us emails, tell us that they were motivated by the movie to do tshuva, to change their life, Baruch Hashem. So it's working, it's a very good tool to just simply get people to wake up. That's the DVD. Second part is the CD, which is 57 shiurim about Tikkun Brit, different topics from watching your eyes to the problems with not knowing about the significance of wasting seed, to the extent of how to deal with it, how to fix it. Every day I get a number of questions from people of how to deal with this horrendous sin that the Shulchan Aruch calls the worst sin in the Torah, that the Gemara says in several places, including Masechet Nida, that a person that wastes seed, it's like he brought the Mabul, he brought the flood of Noach. Maybe at the time the scientific minded didn't understand what Chazal meant, but when you fast forward a couple of thousand years, you see that the scientific world, although secular, still confirmed the words of Chazal by showing us that each time there is a emanation of seed from a man, there are literally millions and millions of neshamot, potential people that are being wasted. Now, of course, if a person uses the brit the right way, of course he's not going to use all of those seeds. And therefore it's a mitzvah for what he's doing. Because Hashem is the one that's deciding which one is going to work, which one is not, which means that he is fulfilling his obligation, the person is fulfilling his obligation for doing what he's supposed to do, and Hashem is in essence fulfilling his obligations, if you will, of deciding what's going to work and what's not, if any or not at all. But when a person simply decides to go against the Melech, go against the King of Kings, and just waste all of it, then he gets punished for all of it. This is similar to how the Chazal teaches us that if a person thinks wicked thoughts, he doesn't get punished for the thoughts. But if those thoughts lead to action, he gets punished for the thoughts and the action. So, now, although we've had extensive shiurim about this topic, it's always amazing to me how little the Jewish public, and of course the world at large, knows about this, And even the Hasidim that are mamash doing chesed for Am Yisrael by giving out these CDs, they're surprised themselves. Different people from all over the place that are giving out the CDs, you know, they're amazed at how little people know about this topic. So much so that religious people are looking at them as like, well, what's the problem with Tikkun HaBrit? Why is it such a big deal that he made a whole CD about it? He says, well, do you know anything about Tikkun HaBrit? He goes, yeah, it's just, well, what's the problem? As long as you're married, everything's okay, right? He says, no, not exactly. Well, what do you mean, not exactly? Being married by itself doesn't mean that you're Shomer Brit. You have to make sure that the act itself is kosher and that the seed goes exactly in the one place it's allowed. The Hasid's face dropped, almost hit the floor. He goes, what do you mean it goes in the right place? You mean I can't just do whatever I want? No, you can't just do whatever you want. You can't just do whatever you want. Now, you would think this is a unique story. I hear stories like this 3-4 times a day. For years. I have rabbis that have contacted me that from all over the world that have told me that they simply never learned this topic. So they didn't know the significance of the chumrah, of the obligation of what their responsibility is. So much so, Rabotai Yekarim, that even the Chatam Sofer, Kodesh Kodashim, when he was at the end of his days, he rebuked himself. Chatam Sofer was Kodesh Kodashim by anybody's measurement. One of the Gdolei Ador. At the end of his days, he rebuked himself and he says, I'm dying now because I didn't teach enough about Pigam Brit. So, if the Chatam Sofer is rebuking himself, needless to say, we need to as well. The problem is that today, it's not that we're just ignorant, it's that many are rejecting the truth. And not only for themselves, but for other people. Which is a very, very different situation than we've had in the past. You know, if you don't want to hear the truth, that's one thing. That's your problem. If you want to commit suicide, that's your problem to deal with. You'll have to deal with it. But to force other people to be in the same situation as you, that puts you in a class of a murderer. Not of yourself, but of other people. To keep people ignorant is outright murder. And that's unfortunately what's happening today. So last week, Baruch Hashem, we had a very, very big and bold plan because we constantly order new CDs from the distributors, from the manufacturers, and the problem is always distributing them. You know, so you order 100,000 CDs, great, you paid for it, you raised the money, you didn't raise the money, bottom line is you got the CDs, Baruch Hashem. It's in a warehouse, Baruch Hashem. No one's doing tshuva if they're in the warehouse though. So now you wait for people to go buy them, yeah, good luck with that one. Mashiach's going to come 17 times by the time they buy these CDs. Why? Because these CDs actually help people do tshuva. A woman tells me one time, listen, I had cancer and I didn't know what to do. I decided to go to the Kotel. Kotel al-Ma'aravi in Eretz Yisrael. Over there, there's not many English CDs. So I looked, there's one CD, there's a bunch of CDs over there, but there's one English CD. I looked at it, it was in English. I asked the people there, does this belong to anybody? Does it belong to anybody? One woman says, yeah, it's for you. It's for you, CD. Says that CD changed my life, I did tshuva after that. Shemeret Shabbat, Shemeret everything. Overcame some major obligation. Where? In the Kotel HaMa'aravi in Eretz Yisrael. How I got there, only HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows. But the CDs make people do tshuva. But the problem is that if we wait for people to buy them, very few and far in between. Out of over 700,000 CDs that we've gotten, I'd say if we sold 7,000, it would be a miracle. Just simply because, you know, the people that want to sponsor the CDs don't have the time to distribute them, and the people that want to distribute them don't usually have the money. But this is not necessarily very good for business. It's not good for the bottom line, but it's good for Hashem. So that's what we do. We make the shidduch. We try to raise as much money as we can. We try to get some people to distribute them. But the problem is that even this system is not efficient. Why? Because the people that want to distribute the CDs, how much are they going to distribute? How much can you do? Okay, so you're out there in Los Angeles, or you're out there in New York, or you're out there in wherever you are. You want to get, okay, Rabbi, send me a couple hundred CDs, I'm going to distribute them. Okay, Baruch Hashem, I'm going to send you a few $100s worth of stuff for free, so you're going to distribute them. Fine, that's great. Okay, but if I have a few 100,000, that means I have to get a few thousand of you. And it's not so hard, it's not so easy to do that. On top of that, it's very expensive for shipping and so on and so forth. So it's not a very efficient system. So to get rid of 100,000 CDs takes a lot of work, a lot of time, and many times it's a very big disappointment where, you contact a person, a few months later, hey, listen, so how is the 500 CDs that I sent you? I sent you a few $1,000s worth of stuff for free. Let me know. Did you get any results? Anybody come to you? Oh, no, I still have most of it in my house. What do you mean you still have most of it in your house? Why is it in your house? If it was better off in my warehouse than your house. Because my warehouse, it would have actually gone to somebody by now. So that's the problem. People commit to something, they don't distribute them, and that's what happens. So it's not a really efficient system. So we try to do something clever and something bold, but the Yetzer Hara, Baruch Hashem, he's more clever. But we got some. So last week we had a plan, Baruch Hashem, to distribute 100,000 CDs in one day. So we hired 3 different teams. And first one was a scam. Professional company, charged a certain amount of money per CD, this, that, the other thing. Scam. 0, nothing. Baruch Hashem, they never got the CDs though. Shtabach Shema, Kadosh Baruch Hu saved us from that. Scam. Remember, guys, I told you, I've never met one person that does business that's honest. Baruch Hashem, I continue to be right. So, first company, scam. Second company, made a lot of promises. Yeah, I'm going to do this. Yeah, we're going to do that. No problem. Fine. How many people you have? I have this, I have that. Okay, promise. How much this? Okay, you want half the money back? Okay, no problem. Whatever you want, I'll give you. So, they picked up half of their allotment, and they were supposed to deliver all of it on Lag BaOmer, on the day before Lag BaOmer, on Monday. So they could pretty much be ready first thing in the morning on Tuesday, on Lag BaOmer. It's a whole, if you can deliver 50,000 CDs, it's a lot of people, it's a lot of time. It's a full day, even if you have 30, 40 people. So the guy tells me, I went to the warehouse on Monday night. I saw what you have over there. I got it. We're not going to do it right now. We're going to pick it up in the morning. 10 o'clock in the morning, we're going to come. I'm like, it's a little late, 10 o'clock in the morning. Okay, no, we're going to come 10 o'clock in the morning. No problem. Okay, 10 o'clock comes, 10:30 comes, 11 comes, 12 comes, 1 comes. A lot of things come. A lot of things came. A lot of things, lunch, dinner, everything came. The money came first, though. The money they got. So my guy at the warehouse says, they're here. I said, no, but he doesn't have a truck. I'm like, wait, he's here, but he doesn't have a truck? What are we going to do with him? Oh, he's waiting for the truck to come. He said it's 5 minutes. That was like at 1. Long story short, I'll save you the time. They didn't actually pick up the CDs until 5:45 p.m. 5:45 p.m. I said, if you deliver 10% of what you were supposed to, I'd be surprised. No, we're going to work, and do, and that. Okay, no problem, fine. They worked for a couple of hours, then stopped answering my calls. The next day said, we're working. I said, but we were supposed to do everything yesterday. Okay, fine, just do it. Just whatever you got, just deliver it. Just don't throw them out. I don't really care. I already know I got it. Fine, no problem. Just don't throw them out. Bring it back to the warehouse, deliver them, do something. Just don't throw them out. No, we're going to give them out. No, Rabbi, we're going to do this. It was delay, it was this, it was that. Lots of excuses. I don't really care. People, for some reason, think I care about excuses. They want to tell you the whole story of why, and the truck came, and then it didn't come, and then it was a flat, and then it was his father and his mother. And who cares? I paid you money, cash, for all those problems to be solved on your end, not my end. I don't have to solve your problems. That's the people fail to realize that once you pay them, that means you don't really care about the problems or the excuses. They don't realize that. So, Shtabach Shimo, Yetzer Hara got them. What? They didn't do the delivery on Lag BaOmer. They got only, maybe 1,000 CDs they gave on Lag BaOmer. On that team, that second team. First team, complete scam. Second team, maybe 1,000 CDs, I think, maybe. But second day they gave out a bunch, but still not enough. They had to continue pretty much the rest of the week. I think they gave out something like 50,000 CDs. I think. I may be dreaming though. I don't have any proof. But they gave me like 40, 50 pictures of, you count the CDs though, it's not 50. We tried. Then you have the most special team. Team number 1, scam. Team number 2, half a scam. They gave out something. I saw them working. I saw videos working. They gave subsidies. I saw. So half a scam. Team number 3 is the most special team. It's my favorite team. Why? Tzaddikim. Really led by a tzaddik. Serious. Loves Hashem. Wants to do for mitzvah. Doesn't want the money. got a few people together. Shtabach Shimo, Yetzara was going crazy. Yetzara was upset. Why? This guy doesn't even want the money. He doesn't want money. He doesn't want anything. He just wants to give out CDs to help Am Yisrael. He tells me, his friends, they're all religious. They don't know about Gama Brit. He thought it was a problem with just one school, one neighborhood, one this. He realized it's an epidemic worse than Corona. So he said, I have to help him. Got to do something. For Kadosh Baruch Hu, how much he does for me. Okay, we got a team together, got a few people. Ishtabach Shimo, we're going to a very, very religious neighborhood in America, in New Jersey. So now, it's supposed to be a very special area, a lot of religious people. Should be easy business. Why? Rav Yaron Kotler, that built that community, built the community. What did he say? Anyone that saw the shiur that I did with Rabbi Zitron, Rabbi Yeshua Zitron in New York about Gama Brit, that's how he opened the shiur. He said, what Rav Yaron Kotler, when he built Lakewood, what did he say? He says, Chas v'shalom, that we'd listen to these people that say, don't talk about Gama Brit, about Tikkun Brit in public. Chas v'shalom to listen to such people. Because when people talk about all the garbage of the world, the filth of the world, they don't think about it twice. But we're going to think about twice about teaching about Gama Brit, about Kedusha. You know, in the Safa of the Torah, in the language of the Torah, it's not really called Gama Brit or Tikkun Brit. That's language that the Chazal instituted. What does HaKadosh Baruch Hu refer to the whole issue of the Brit? Kedusha. That's what it's called, Kedusha, holiness. Why? You be holy because I am holy. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, if you're Brit, if your intimacy issues, if you're in general, your whole sexuality, if you will, it's holy, you're a holy person. It's not tameh. You're tameh and you're making other people tameh. So the whole issue is called Kedusha. The whole thing is called Kedusha. So now you go to a place that in essence is supposed to be Kadosh, which it is. There's many Anashim Kedoshim over there. Many. But wait, the Yetzirah doesn't have Tmeim in place of Kedoshim. Yetzirah has soldiers everywhere. So they start the day, a little bit of delay, they pick up the boxes to get the guys, we're running. We get over there, I get 57 different phone calls throughout that day. I'm trying to navigate, it's like a terminal. My computer's like a terminal. Problems, good news, problems, all types of fun things. You come see my computer, says, how do you do this? I don't know. Anyway, you come now, they arrive, the team arrives, 3 different cars, lots and lots of boxes. We're ready. Within an hour of landing on, Area 51. Within an hour of giving over there is the place. It's the best place in the world to go. Torah, the people that love Torah, who's better than you? Ishtabach Shimo La'ad, the Yetzirah Yimach Shimo, the Yetzirah sends a soldier number 1. A guy comes in, he looks like, not a rabbi, he looks like he just came from Mount Sinai. He comes with a long beard, could sweep the floor twice, just for you and for him. Same price. He comes with the hair, and he comes with the hair, and he comes with the hair. Here, he comes with everything. What are you doing? To my guys, what are you doing? We're giving out CDs. Well, sorry. Like he analyzes, like it's like he's analyzing a taref, or the meat. Sometimes you have to see maybe there's a hole in the lung or something. No. You can't teach this. Tikkun Brit. You can't teach this to the public. What are you doing? You can't teach this to people. What do you mean? It's Torah. My guy Baruch Hashem knows a little bit of Torah, but he wasn't there. It was the other guys. He didn't know as much. What do you mean you can't teach this? No. I'm calling the cops. I'm calling the mayor. I'm calling the cops. I'm calling the mayor. Right now. Starts taking pictures of them. Scares the hell out of these kids. They call my guy. Say, this guy is calling the cops, calling the mayor. Who is this guy? What? Mayor. The mayor is going to... What? What are you talking about? The guy goes on the phone, starts yelling at them, calls the cops. Yeah, you don't understand what's going on. Calls the mayor. My guy shows up within 2 minutes. What's going on over here? And he hears the guy on the phone. Yeah, you're giving stuff about pornography to kids. That's what he tells the cops on the phone. He's giving things for child pornography. Lie, complete liar, filthy, disgusting person. He's giving child pornography to children, and I'm going to call the mayor. This is illegal. He's putting it in mailboxes. It's illegal. I'm going to call this complete fabrication. Ishtabach Shemolad. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Cops, mayor, what? Starts convincing the people to get out of their houses, to gather. No, we got to get it out. Give it back. Throw it away. Throw it away. Now, let me ask you a question. If this was a flyer for le'avdil, pornography, or a flyer to buy some taref from some Mexican restaurant that's selling non-kosher food, do you think he would call the cops? Do you think he would call the mayor? No, what he would do, take the flyer, throw it in the garbage. Goodbye, senor. Goodbye. What do I care? We don't eat taref in Lakewood. We don't eat taref in Lakewood. We eat kasher. You came to the wrong neighborhood, but okay, fine, I'm not going to save you the problem. We'll throw it out for you. That's it. If it was pornography, maybe put it in his pocket. No, we don't need it. We don't need it. Give me another one. Give it there for my friend. No, we don't need it. We don't need it. Give me to 5. Give me, what is it, discount? Give me. Hey. Tikkun HaBrit. Tikkun HaBrit to get him into Olam Haba? No way. So, a tzaddik is a chassid, tzaddik. What do you say? He starts talking to the guy, starts rebuking him. He says, you know what you're doing. You're machtia rabin. You're causing people to sin. You're not letting them learn Torah. If you don't like it, don't watch it. You don't like it, don't listen to it. What do you care about other people? Starts rebuking him. He says, you know, you're a sinner yourself. He goes, maybe. Because you have issues with Tikkun HaBrit, don't you? Yeah, maybe I should listen to this, maybe. He says. That's what he says. He says, you know, you're probably a shaliach of the Satan. He goes, maybe. I mean, I couldn't make this up in a movie. In a movie, they would tell me, listen, we don't like such work. This is too fictional. It's too fictional. But people are not going to believe this stuff. It doesn't make... The guy said, you're a shaliach of the Satan. Maybe. You have probably Tikkun HaBrit issue also. You're Tikkun HaBrit. Yeah, I do. He admits. I do. But you realize how many people are not getting this CD because of you now? Slow down the whole thing. Wasted maybe 2 hours. A couple of guys got spooked, left, quit. Anyway, they delivered some CDs, Baruch Hashem, but it was maybe 30% of what we were supposed to do. Now, why do I mention this story other than to entertain you a little bit? Because this has to do with everything we're going to learn today. This has to do with everything we're going to learn today. You see, Rabotai, the Chazon Ish, he wasn't looking to entertain us. He was looking to tell us the truth. Chazon Ish so far explained to us how we have to look at our body parts in such a different way than we ever did before, that just by simply looking yourself in the mirror, you do tshuva. Now, in chapter 4 of the Emunah V'Bitachon, Sefer by the Chazon Ish, he says the following: ראה יוצר שעדיין אין החיים מפרחין על מתוכנתם, אם לא יהיה קשר איש עם רעהו, ועולם שכולם חרשים ואילמים נטול על ערך, כל ערך, ואין בו שום ממש, וטוב ממנו התוהו. עמד ותיקן מכונה מצפצפת קולות משונים, ואנו קוראים למכונה הזאת פה, וכנגדה תיקן מכונה מתפעלת ונרגשת מכל תנועת קול, ואנו קוראים מכונה זאת אוזן. ועל ידי פה ואוזן נבראת שפה, מדברת איש אל רעהו, והיא האדם לנפש חיה, לרוח ממללה. The Creator, Aborei Barach, saw that the proper flow of life, all of these organs that we've been talking about, whether it be the lungs, or be the heart, or be your eyes, or be your hands, and all these different things that you have, all of this would be impossible. Without contact, the proper flow of life would be impossible without contact between one person and another. And a world in which all people are deaf and mute is valueless and unsubstantial. Chaos would be better. Meaning, if the world came back, if there was no communication between one person and the other, if we were unable to speak, and you were unable to hear me, simply the world going back to nothingness would actually be better than that. If there was no way for us to communicate, where if I couldn't speak and you hear me, and you speak and I hear you, if there's no way for that to happen for the masses, there's simply no purpose for everyone. What's the point? In essence, what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling us here is that without unity of mankind, in the lowest form at least, of just simply communicating, the creation itself loses its value. Why create so many beings without them being able to communicate with each other, learn from each other, love each other, hate each other even, whatever it is? If they can't communicate, what's the point? Why not just create one of them, like Adam HaRishon? But even Adam HaRishon had a spouse, and then kids, and so on and so forth. Meaning that the specific creation of the mouth and the ears, in essence, gave a purpose to all of the other parts of the body, where without them, none of those other parts would really be meaningful. So yeah, you'd be able to breathe, and yeah, you'd be able to walk, and yeah, you'd be able to touch with your hands, but if you cannot communicate to another person, if we're all simply robots that cannot communicate with each other, we just pass each other as if nothing. No hello, no goodbye, no I love you, no I hate you, no let me tell you a chidush, let me tell you a funny story, nothing. Just all of us just simply lived independent lives of each other. All of that would simply be purposeless. No point. Which shows that unity in general, not just of the nation, but rather of mankind in general, being able to live in a world together, communicate together, is in essence part of the purpose of the world. But that's also gives us the deeper meaning of who are we allowed to be united with, who are we not allowed to be united with, who are we allowed to sit with, who are we not allowed to sit with, and so on. But nonetheless, a person needs to know that the mouth that you have is much more than just a mouth that, speaks. The ears that you have are much more than just things that can hear. They're much more than that. They, in essence, gave a value to the rest of the things that you have that are in your body. Where if that function was removed, not just from you, if there is, let's say, for example, a certain situation, a Baal Mum, someone that has a deformity of some kind, they cannot hear, they cannot see, they're blind, they're deaf, and so on, that's one person. But nonetheless, usually those people can still communicate. They may not be able to speak, but they can still communicate with their hands. They may not be able to hear, but they can still communicate with their hands. But if they and their audience, meaning everyone, was in the same field, was in the same position, where no one was able to communicate at all, none of creation would simply have a purpose. Which shows us also that if you ever had the question in your mind, do animals talk? This just gave you the answer. They do. Because if they weren't able to communicate with each other, there would be no purpose for them to be so many. If the cows couldn't speak to each other, there wouldn't be a purpose for them to be so many. You say, well, yeah, but we eat them. Yeah, but there would never be a way for them to reproduce in such a fashion without some form of communication. The bugs, the cows, the birds, and so on and so forth. Actually, one of the 70 languages that the sages had to learn is the language of the animals. Shlomo HaMelech is very famous for speaking the language of the animals, and many secrets that he uncovered came from the animals. One guy came to Shlomo HaMelech one time and says, Kvod Harav, I want to learn the language of the birds. And Shlomo HaMelech says to him, no, you don't want to. I promise you don't want to. No, please, Your Highness, I want to learn, please, teach me. I know you have all the wisdom, you're the smartest man in the world. He says, I promise you, you don't want to know the language of the birds. You don't want to. You can't handle it. If you don't know it, you can't handle it. Please. Okay, you want to know it? Fine, no problem. So, he teaches him the language. The next day, the guy walks out of his house and he hears talking, and he's looking for people. There's no people. And he hears, you hear what's going to happen to this guy? Yeah, his son's going to fall today. He's going to break his leg. What? Who said that? Huh? And he starts realizing it's the two chickens. The chickens that are sitting in next to, in his house. He has a little lul, he has a little cage thing for chickens. Everybody had chickens back then. And, you'd have to rent one. Today, this business, you rent chickens. Or you buy them as a pet and then you return them when you don't want them anymore. Anyway, so he had, New York's big business. They have nothing to do with their money, so they buy chickens. Put it on the 35th floor. I never did it though. Just saw it on YouTube. But anyway, the guy hears his two chickens having a conversation, and they're talking about his son. So they don't know that he knows what their language is. So he runs back inside. He says, son, where are you going? Abba, I'm going to school. No school for you. No school for you. What? No school for you. You stay home. Okay, fine, no problem. Stay home. So the kid goes back to his head. He goes home, and then he hears the chickens. He goes, you see what happened? It's like the guy knew what we were saying. The kid's not going to school. Wow, what a me. This guy's a genius. The next day, the guy comes out of the house. He says, you know what's going to happen today, right? He's the chickens again. You know what's going to happen today? Yeah. Today, he's going to fall. He's going to fall and he's going to break his leg. Our owner, he's going to break his leg. He's going to lose a lot of money because of that. He goes, huh? Turns around, goes back inside. Honey, I'm not going to work today. Why? Why not? You have no work? No. I figured I'm tired from the weekend. I'm tired. I'm not going to work. Chicken's like, wow, this guy's like a prophet. He knows what's going to happen. He didn't go. The next day he comes out and he hears the chickens. Yeah, today his wife's going to die. How? She's simply going to get a heart attack. She's going to die. How are you going to stop a heart attack? Can't go? What are you going to do? So what does he do? He runs to Shlomo HaMelech. He runs to Shlomo HaMelech. Your Highness, I need your help. What happened? You heard the chickens, didn't you? He goes, yeah. I told you don't want to know the language. I told you. He goes, yeah, but I already know. No, listen, I can't help you. No, but please, listen. They told me, I know what they told you. First you heard that you're going to break a leg or something, right? Yeah, it was my son. And you stopped it. Yeah, okay, that's the mistake. Then it was your leg. Yeah. That was your mistake number 2. Now it's your wife, right? Yeah, it's your wife. He goes, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has a decree in Shemaim that was meant for you, for some sin that you made. So the sin, he wants you to suffer a little bit, so he sent it to your son. Your son's going to break his leg, and you're going to suffer a little bit, and that's it. But you stopped. Like the chickens knew it, and you heard it, and you try to stop it. So Hashem has to give you a different decree. Because it's still a decree. Once the bullet is shot, you can't take it back. So then it had to go on you, but you stopped that too. Now there's no way to stop it. Now it's going to your wife. Once the bullet is shot from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you can't stop it. I told you didn't want to know the language of the chickens. Now, after the shiur today, we're going to teach the language of the chickens. So Rabotai Kareem, is that you have a situation where a person needs to understand that his ears are more than just to communicate with each other. They literally give a meaning to all of the things that he has in his body. And the Chazon Ish continues and he says that if all people were deaf or mute, everything will be unsubstantial. So the Creator made a machine that makes strange noises, a machine known to us as the mouth. On the other hand, he also made a machine that reacts to these sounds, known to us as the ear. By way of the mouth and the ear, language was created. Man then became a living thing, which was translated by Onkelos in the Aramaic translation of the Torah as a speaking being called Ruach Mimalela. Now, the big thing here that we see is that you have yourself a mouth that speaks, you have an ear that hears. The question is, what are you listening to? And what words are you saying? Now, if you notice, Hashem did not put your ears in front of your face. He didn't put your ears here. He didn't put your ears in your pocket. He didn't put, imagine your ear was on your foot. And every time somebody talks to you, hold on a second, you lift your foot all the way to his face. It wouldn't work out so good. It wouldn't work out so good. Or if your ear was on your hand. I mean, today it may actually work out because our hands are on the phone all day anyway. But, if your head was in your ear, it's like, hey, wow, what, you telling me goodbye? No, I just want to hear what you're saying. It wouldn't work out so good. If it was in front of your face, it would be difficult for you to hear depth. Meaning, if it was over here, then if somebody talked to you, you would have to be in a certain position in order to understand what he's saying. But if he's talking far away, if he changes the tone, you have a very, very difficult problem as far as understanding what he's actually saying. One of the reasons why we fluctuate our voice as speakers, if you're a professional speaker, you tend to fluctuate your voice, you tend to do certain things at different times in order to grasp the attention of the person's brain. It's a subconscious thing that you do. Now, if you speak to people in a monotone fashion, you limit your crowd to simply people that are just like you, monotone. But when you fluctuate your voice, you raise your voice sometimes you raise your voice a lot and yell, sometimes you speak really low, and believe it or not, people listen to that even more. And you do different things. In speaking, you can use the talents that you have in different ways. When I used to teach guys how to sell, and our business on Wall Street was 99.99999 on the phone. Virtually never meeting the clients in person. If they want to come visit us, come visit us. If you want to go visit them, no problem. But generally speaking, I've done, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of business without ever seeing the people. And I preferred it that way. Why? What's the point? Why? To see your face, my face for what? I never understood that. But people sometimes like to meet. So I would tell them, you want to come to my office? Come to my office. I'm here. I'm at the same address all the time. Come. But what, for me to go take a trip to wherever you live, for what? Once in a blue moon I would do it. But generally speaking, I tried not to. I hate meeting people. Till this day, I hate meeting people. People always ask me, when can I meet you? Never. When? No, but what, I want to talk to you one-on-one. I said, come to the shiur. I'll meet you after the shiur. No, can we do like lunch? No. What about coffee? Absolutely not. Can we have a phone call? Well, try text message. It's the best we can get. Text message. If you want, we'll do voice notes. Why? There's no point. There's really no point. Why? Because what do you do in meetings? You chit-chat for an hour and a half for about absolutely nothing, and the final 5 minutes is the real purpose of the meeting. Why don't we just get to the 5 minutes? I got a lot of stuff to do. What do I need to chit-chat with you? I don't need coffee. I have coffee in my house. Food? Baruch Hashem, my wife give me food. Why? For what? And that's what I did. I did literally hundreds of millions of dollars in business without ever meeting people. And people think, it's so strange you don't meet people. It's not strange. It's how I did my life. You want to meet people? Go do it. I've done meetings in my life. I've hated every single one of them. And generally speaking, now I refrain from doing them even more so, simply because it's a big waste of time. But people like to meet. People like to see people. People like to, look at you in the eyes, if you will. And they like to do it. They like to socialize. But at the same token, when you have you communicate with certain people, if you look at them and you're talking to them and you see that they're looking somewhere else, you don't have their attention, it's not so much fun. So when you speak to people, you need to make sure that they're listening to you. So sometimes when you're a speaker, you're a public speaker, you have to try to get the attention of the people in different ways. When you talk to people on the phone, you don't know what they look like. It's not like today with Skype and FaceTime and all these different technology. You can pretty much speak to people by looking at them. So you speak to people on the phone, you have no idea if the guy put the phone down or if he's listening to you. So you have to use different clever tools to test whether you have their attention or you don't have their attention, whether you're trying to grab their attention, you don't try to grab their attention. I'll give you a few little things. First of all, you have to know what you're going to say before you say it. If you don't know what you're going to say before you say it, don't sell anything. Not in person, not on the phone. Why? You're not a salesperson. Salespeople know what they're going to say before they're going to say it. Yeah, but how do I know what he wants? No, you don't know what he wants. You're going to tell him what he wants. That's what salespeople do. You're going to tell the guy what he wants. You're not going to ask him what he wants. You're going to tell him what he wants. That's what salespeople do. Oh, it's not so nice. I don't know. Apple was built that way. Apple, you have iPhones? Apple was built that way. Coca-Cola was built that way. Every company in the world is built that way. You don't ask people what they want. You tell them what they want. So you call the guy, you tell him, listen, you need this. Why? And I'll tell you different reasons of why you need it. Now, while the guy is not convinced that he needs it, or the woman is not convinced that she needs it, we try to generally not deal with women, by the way, on the phone.
very difficult client. But we had a few women clients. Some of them were okay, but generally we try to refrain from it. They're very emotional. When it comes to business, you don't want to deal with emotions. Torah, you deal with emotions all day. So everybody's emotional. The guys are crying, the girls are crying, everybody's crying. And in business, not so much. All the feminists are going to put stamps with my face on it. He's anti-women. No, not anti-women. I just don't want to do business with you. That's it. But anyway, I'm not in business. But anyway, so you have people, you call them, and you don't know if you have their attention. So how do you know? You have to, first and foremost, you have to know what you're going to say. Second of all, you have to have certain points where you pause and you ask for their response. Get them involved in the conversation. Yes, no, maybe. Not like a long response where it now turns into a conversation, but just simply try to get their attention. The third thing is, you have to make them interested in what you're going to say. Now, in reality, they have no idea what you're saying. 90% of what you're saying, you know what you're saying, but they have no idea what you're saying. So you have to embellish certain words and keep them focused on certain words. So you fluctuate your voice. You fluctuate your voice. You increase the voice. You lower the voice. Let me tell you a story. This story is the greatest story ever been told. And the guy's like, wow. He puts the phone inside his head. Because now you're whispering. Why is he whispering? Why is he whispering all of us? He was yelling the whole time. Why is he whispering now? Let me tell you the story. I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm going to tell you. Listen, this. The guy doesn't know what you're whispering. He's so interested, he wants to put the phone inside his head. So that's, in essence, it's not a trick. It's simply a thing to get the person's attention. You're not fooling him. You're just trying to get the guy's attention. Same thing I do with you guys. Same thing I do with everything. Is that sometimes you raise your voice because half of you guys are sleeping, so I have to wake you up. Sometimes you lower your voice. Sometimes you speak really, really fast and you tell them 57 different facts. Like, they're so baffled, like, wow, it's amazing. And sometimes you tell them slowly, like they're retarded, and A, and B, and C, and you try to make them laugh, and so on and so forth. So you see that there is a different way to speak to different people, and sometimes you have to use your hands, sometimes you have to use facial expressions, some people like to tell jokes. I'm generally not very good at jokes, other than jokes that make fun of me. Other than that, there's really nothing else. It's different things. Point being is, your mouth and your ears are very, very sophisticated tools. If you use them the right way, you can do a lot of things. Generally speaking, the most successful people in the world have been relatively good speakers. Why? It's not about how smart you are. It's about how could you explain your idea. Can I understand your idea? Because your idea, even if it's your idea, you don't necessarily need to know how to execute it. You just need to know how to explain it to somebody. You could buy somebody to execute it. You could pay for that. You could buy the Harvard guy. You could buy the Dartmouth guy. You could buy the Cornell guy and a Yale guy. You could just give them a little bit of money and they'll make your idea come to life. The question is, can you tell me your idea in a simple way where a 5-year-old can understand? If you can, you'll be successful. If you can't, you'll be a loser for the rest of your life. With an idea though. Good idea. But you'll be in your mom's basement with that idea. And that's the way it works. So speaking is a very, very valuable skill. But not everybody needs to have it for that purpose. Because not everybody's going to be a speaker. But what does it have to do with our issue today that's much, much more important than all of my business career now that I just told you now? Is that regardless of whether you're going to use this skill for business or not, you must be able to communicate with society, especially the close people around you. Whether you like to communicate or you don't like to communicate. Whether you're a good communicator or you're not a good communicator. Whether you understood how to fluctuate your voice and how to explain certain things or not. You have to know how to communicate. Why? If you don't know how to communicate, you will live a very miserable life and everybody around you will as well. Why? Because no one's going to ever understand each other. That's in essence the first little tool that the Chazon Ish is trying to tell us, is that if it wasn't for our ability to communicate with each other with our ears and our mouth, life would simply be meaningless. Having a family with 87 different kids, nightmare. Why? Nobody understands everybody. Nobody understands anyone. 2 kids, 80 kids, it seems impossible anyway. Why? No one understands anyone. So that means that we have to toil, we have to work hard, not just at learning Torah, but executing the teaching of Chachamim tizaru b'divrechem, that the wise people, you must be careful with your words. You want to be a wise person, you want to learn Torah, you want to be something special in your life, you have to be wise with your words. You have to be very careful with them. What, with my Talmidim? No, not just with your Talmidim. With your wife, with your husband, with your kids, with your friends, with your boss, with everybody. You have to choose your words carefully. Why? They make an impact on people. They make an impact on people. Now sometimes you hurt somebody, and that's the impact you wanted. You wanted to hurt them. It's not exactly such a good endeavor, but nonetheless, you hurt somebody with your words, but that's actually what you wanted. You wanted to see that person cry. Now, if you plan this ahead of time, and there's an ultimate purpose, no problem. I actually told somebody today that she should not talk to our son at all. She shouldn't cook for him, shouldn't clean for him, shouldn't give him any money. She should simply act as if he doesn't exist in our house until he comes back and apologizes on all four with tears. If he just says, I'm sorry, no. Continue. Continue not talking to him. Continue treating him like he's a ghost. Why? He said some really nasty things to his ima. When you say really nasty things to your ima, you don't deserve any attention whatsoever. You have to be reminded that without your ima, you wouldn't even be a seed. A seed you wouldn't be. So when you speak in a nasty way to your ima, you're worse than a seed. You're worse than nothing. Young kids today talk to their parents like worse than friends. Curse them out, yell at them, like they owe them something. No, I don't need you. You don't need me. Go outside. Go. Go. You don't need me. You live in my house. You don't need me. Go. Go outside. Go. Go make it in the world, kid. You and your little 16-year-old education. Go. Go make it in the world. You and your Nintendo. Go. Go. There you go. Go. Go pay rent. $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month. Go. Go. Go pay for food. Go make your own laundry. Do you even know how to change your own underwear? You know how to laundry your underwear. Do you know even how to do that, B'chlal? What? Because everything is given to you. You think, I don't need you. I don't need you. I can do this myself. Go do it myself. Go. Go do it by yourself, hero. Go make your laundry, make your little, what are you going to make for? What are you going to make for breakfast? Oh, Twinkie again? You had Twinkie yesterday. Granola bar again? How long you need granola bar for breakfast? Oh, you eating yesterday's granola bar? You only eat half yesterday? Why you only eat half yesterday? Oh, you can't afford it. Oh, because the granola bar costs money. Oh, because your imam now gave it to you. Oh, you forgot it costs money. Because you never made money in your life. Except when you were delivering a few newspapers, you thought that you were a rich guy. Kids talk to their parents like they're employees. Kids like that, you have to treat them in a hard way. Why? You have to wake them up. Being nice to them is not going to work. So sometimes you have to hurt somebody. Guy says, Ima, I want this and this. She has an answer. In the beginning, it's going to be a little annoying. After she has an answer for a week straight, it's going to hurt. Why? Kid's going to realize he doesn't have an Ima. Sometimes you have to do this. Sometimes you have to do this. Now, listen, your parenting skills may be different. B'atzlacha rabba. Success. Whatever you do. But I know that when it comes to certain people, if you constantly treat them in a soft way, it won't work. It doesn't work with everybody. Soft works with some kids, soft doesn't work with other kids. One of my kids, God bless him, Ovadia, you speak to him hard, it doesn't work at all. He dafka does the opposite, or he just simply ignores as if you said anything. You speak to him like he's a mature, Talmid Chacham, Kadosh, this, that, whatever you want, he'll do. You treat him like we respect, 3-year-old, no problem. Yell, scream, nothing. I don't know, yell and scream, but nonetheless, doesn't react to it. Doesn't react to like hard, doesn't react. Doesn't. Talk to him, explain to him why you need him to do this, this, and this. Works. Once in a while he drives you crazy because he wants to climb the ceiling. So you want to yell, but the point is that, but with my other daughter, you raise your voice 1%, all this, everything in the world. Yeah, I'm sorry, cries for 3 hours. You can't treat everybody the same. You can't. But when a kid is nasty and acts like a ben sorer umoreh in the Torah, curses his parents, goes against them like that, Torah says to kill him. Now, we're not allowed to kill anybody, but at the very least, we should treat him as if he's dead. Don't talk to him. Until he comes back and says, I'm sorry, Ima. I'm sorry, Abba. No, I'm sorry? Okay, I'm not going to kick you to the streets. Because God only knows what you'll do over there. But from now on, you're simply a roommate. See how long you survive. You want to survive that way? You want to continue life that way? Don't worry. Go. One day you'll regret it. But you cannot continue being empathetic to these people or sympathetic to these people that are just outright nasty. You can't. This mouth and ears that you have has to be utilized in a certain way where you have to know how to communicate with certain people. Their way, not just your way. Because your way may work for some people and it may not work for other people. Now, if you are married, you have to know that you're going to have to adjust your way throughout the marriage. Meaning, there is no your way when you're married. The longer you're married, the more times you've adjusted your speech. Because sometimes she wants your attention, sometimes she can't wait to get away from you. Sometimes she wants you to talk to her for 3 hours, sometimes she wants you to just simply just say thank you, I love you, and just go your way, and she goes away and I'll meet you at night. It depends how long you're married, it depends what's going on in your life. Now some of the newlyweds say, what do you mean? I love me, we love, what are you talking about? We're never going to be that way. Okay, well, wait 20 years. Wait 20 years, then we'll talk. Wait 20 years, then we'll talk. Why? In the beginning, lovey-dovey, lovey. Okay, when you're 9 months pregnant, there's no lovey-dovey right now. I can't wait to get rid of this thing out of my body. I have this thing, this alien in my body. Honey, there's no I love you right now. Go away. There's this thing in my body, you won't get out. She doesn't want to talk to you. There's a thing in her body. Go with your nothing. Go make yourself breakfast. Make for me too. I'm hungry because I need to feed this thing. So what do you mean? What happened to lovey-dovey? What happened to I love moochie-moochie? No moochie, go coochie, go over there. I need to eat to feed this thing. Go over there. What do you think? What do you think? This is how it is. Now, a second after the kid's out, oh, I love you. Poochie, coochie, poochie, noochie. What was it? I can't touch you right now. You're nida. I can't. What do you mean you can't touch me? Change the rabbi. Change the religion. Change this. No, I love you, Muchi. What happened? I thought you loved me. Yeah, I love you, but that's why I can't touch you because the rabbi says if I touch you, it's din kared. We go to gay. No, I feel like no, I can't touch you. She's overly emotional. She starts crying. Why? She wants to hug her husband, and you don't even want to hold her hand because you can't, and so on and so forth. Now, guess what? If you don't know what you're gonna say before this happened, you're gonna be it's not gonna be a laughing matter. You're gonna already have to plan for this day before it happens. Remember, honey, I love you. It's 6 months, 3 months from now is a long time, but just remind you, karet, no, not touching. Oh, yeah. You're gonna have to prepare for this stuff. You have to know what you're gonna say. You have to know what you're gonna do. What are you gonna do? How are you gonna get the baby? How are you gonna change? How are you gonna switch? You make mistakes. As you get older, Rabotai Kareem, you start developing different parts of your life. There's ups, there's downs, there's right, there's left, there's all types of things. The kid is this, the kid is that, the wife is this, the parents, the in-laws, the brothers, the job, all types of things change. So you have to learn how to communicate with each other and always make sure you realize that you are on the same team. So long as you realize you're on the same team, it doesn't matter if you have to change your role. Where today you're the mom, today you're pretending to be the dad. Sometimes you're the child, sometimes you're the grandparent. You change your role. Why? Because you're on the same team. Whatever I got to do, coach. Whatever I got to do, let me in. I want to play. I want to be on this team. I want it to win. And that's how you actually know good employees, for example. What are good employees? Employees that are willing to do anything. Anything. I just want to be on a team. That's how you know. I used to play football when I was in Goy High School. And I pretended to be a goy for a few years of my life, and I actually thought I was going to go in the NFL, even though I was like 5'0" and slower than a turtle. I actually, in my imagination, thought I was going to be in the NFL. Now, I knew a lot about the game, but knowledge doesn't get you into the NFL. Knowledge maybe you get you to coach at best, but if you're small, not usually. Anyway, I was on a team. Now there were some guys on the team. I would have literally killed somebody to have their talent. They were born fast. Like, they didn't have to practice to be fast. They were like born like a rat that could run from here till the end of the year in like 5 seconds. It was like unbelievable how fast they were. I'm like struggling to finish the 40, and they like finished it 87 times. Like, how is this happening? How is he doing it? Like, how does a human being run so fast? I'm trying my best. I'm running out of air. And this guy's finishing, he's like jogging backwards, and I'm like, how? How is it possible? It was unbelievable to me. But they were the worst players on the team. Worst. I would play sometimes more than them. Why? I wanted to be on the team, so I was willing to do anything. Coach put me here, coach put me here, coach put me here. I didn't play that much because I wasn't necessarily that talented, but whenever it was somebody opening, they put me in. Until I got injured and couldn't play anymore. But because the rest of the people were like monsters and I'm still little. But the point is that these guys never made anything out of their talent. Why? They had conditions. They were only willing to play a certain role at a certain time, at a certain place. And if you didn't give them that role, that time, at that play, they don't want to play. And guess what? They're losers. Because they thought that their talent is going to get them somewhere. They don't realize there's 1.5 million like them every year that get to nowhere. Why? Your talent by itself is not enough. Your talent by itself is not enough. You need to know how to use it. So sometimes you're going to have a situation where you may know how to talk to certain people, but if you utilize that same skill with your wife, with your husband, it's not going to work. So you have to adapt. And in order to make yourself a good teammate, a good employee, a good husband, a good wife, you have to be able to adapt. Adapt to the environment. Why? Because you want to be on the team. Not necessarily you want to be the captain or you want to be the leader. No, you just want to be on the team. If you want to be on the team, you'll succeed. If you don't want to be on the team, you won't succeed. Why? Sometimes we need you on that role. Sometimes we don't. But that means that when we don't need you, you're just filling up a chair. We'll get somebody else to do that. Maybe we'll hire you as like a contractor. Contractor husband. Once in a year, once, twice a year, when we need kids, we'll bring you. Once, twice a year, when we need a wife, we'll bring you. Once, twice a year, we need, flyer person, we'll hire you. Contractor. Why? Because you don't want to be on a team. You just want your job, how it is. Doesn't work. And this is a major, major problem in a lot of marriages today. I hear that a lot of marriages have problems. Practically every marriage that I'm familiar with, people, that involves people, usually it's people, they have problems. Why? Because they don't know how to communicate. The husband wants what he wants the way he wants. The wife wants what she wants the way she wants. And the problem is that no one knows how to communicate with each other of how to express their feelings. Why is what they want important to them? Why is what they want really what the other person should want also? Everyone is just searching out for themselves. It's like they're married, but they have 2 separate bank accounts. They're married, but they act like roommates. They're married, but in reality, they're only there for that deed that you do once in a while, and that's pretty much it. That's not a marriage. That's worse than dating, because at least dating, you pretend to be happy. And the problem is that if you don't know how to communicate, that marriage is going to end very, very rough. Very rough. So you see, Rabotai, when it comes to communicating, a person needs to know that what they do and how they do it is no less important than their skill set, than their talent, than their, in essence, ability to deliver. Because I may be the best speaker that you know, but some people can't stand me. I may be the worst speaker that you know, some people love me. Why? Because it works for some people, works for some people. But what makes a person really special? If he can speak to everybody. If he can connect with everybody in different ways. Now every lecture we make sure it's long enough that pretty much everybody gets connected to, because we don't have that much talent, but Baruch Hashem, we have time. So we talk for 2 hours, eventually it's going to hit you. If you're awake, it's going to hit you. But the key is to know that you don't have that kind of luxury in marriage. Sometimes you have a wife, or you have a husband that's very demanding, wants an answer right now. I want you to know right now. I want to know now. So that means that you have to get some training. And there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. But you have to learn how to use these tools that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you. Now, the issue is, when you talk about hearing, it's actually even more important than speaking. Because if you want to really truly develop a relationship with somebody, you have to listen to them. Now we ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu to listen to us constantly. Now, David HaMelech, Alav Shalom, in Tehillim, I just opened it up and you see constantly. He constantly cries to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He tells him that Kol Yet El Hashem Ezak, that El Hashem will hear my screams, my cries. My voice he's going to hear. Kol Yet El Hashem Et Chanan, that my voice Hashem will hear my beggings, my pleadings. Akshiva El Rinati. He tells Hashem, please listen to me. Listen to my song. Then, and this is Tehillim 142. Then in 143, Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai Shema Tfilati Ha'azin Et Chalunai. That Hashem, hear my prayer. Listen to my pleadings. So we constantly ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu in our prayers, because we're constantly reading Tehillim in our prayer. Our Siddur is full of Tehillim. It's full of Psalms. So we're constantly pleading with Hashem, hear us, please Hashem, listen to me. I got problems, I don't have enough money, I'm single, I'm lonely, I have problems with my eyes, I look at everything that moves, I have problems with my mouth, I say anything that comes out, I have this, I have that. We constantly cry to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, constantly. Now, the question is, are we listening to Him? Now we're asking Him to listen to us. Now we know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is measure for measure. And anyone who doesn't know, just read last week's Parashat Bechukotai, and he tells you exactly measure for measure. Where he says in Parashat Bechukotai that he tells us that if we fulfill his Torah by listening to him, Im bechukotai terechu ve'et mitzvotai tishmoru ve'asitem otam. If you follow my decrees, observe my commandments, perform them, and then he gives us a whole list of good things that he's going to give us. He's going to provide us rain in their time, and land, and produce, and trees. And our enemies are going to be scared of us. One of us is going to kill 1,000 of them, and so on and so forth. Wonderful, wonderful things. But then he says, if we don't do it, we have a problem. Why? He says that as long as we do what he says, we'll get a reward. And one of the rewards, believe it or not, if you go to verse number 11, one of the things that we're going to have the merit to have, if we do what he says, ונתתי משכני בתוככם ולא תגעל נפשי אתכם, that I will place my sanctuary among you and my spirit will not be disgusted by you. Meaning, one of the rewards for us listening to HaKadosh Baruch Hu is that he's going to put the Mishkan in us, which we had a chidush some years ago that's also in our DNA. You can find Hashem's name in our DNA. Especially if they're Kohanim, there's something unique about Kohanim. Real Kohanim have something unique in their DNA that they're the only ones that have it. But even more so than that, Hashem says, if you do what I say, I'm not going to become disgusted by you. You're not going to be disgusting to me. And that's a reward. That is actually a good thing. That's like, wow, I can't wait for Hashem to not be disgusted by me. That should be an ambition of ours. Now it sounds weird to us, right? Until we hear the opposite. In the beginning it sounds, oh, we're disgusted by me? I'm not doing anything disgusting. Why am I doing disgusting? That's because we don't understand what disgusting means. We think disgusting means, I don't know, playing with your fecal matter or something. Or doing something that other people think is disgusting. Hashem doesn't necessarily find those things disgusting as much as he finds disgusting sins. Because he sees the after effect of what we're doing. And I'm going to give you a chidush worth $100 million today from the Lubavitcher Rabbi, Bechvodo Be'atzmo, of what he said about sinners. They don't teach you this in Chabad though, so stay tuned. So now Rabotai Yekarim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says that one of the wonderful things that we will get by doing what he says and listening to him is that he's not going to be disgusted by us. But if we don't, ואם לא תשמעו לי, ולא תעשו את כל המצוות האלה, ואם בחוקותיי תמאסו, ואם את משפטיי תגעל נפשכם לביתי לעשות את כל מצוותיי להפריכם את בריתי, אף אני אעשה זאת לכם, והפקדתי עליכם בעלה, את השחפת ואת הקדחת, מחלות עיניים, מדיחות נפש, וזרעתם לריק זרעכם, ואכלו אויביכם. The beginning of us not listening to him. He says, if you don't listen to me, and you don't perform all of my commandments, if you consider my decrees loathsome, and you reject my ordinances, in essence, we find his mitzvot disgusting. So as not to perform all my commandments, you look to shortcuts. Oh, can I do this one? Rabbi, if I don't do this one, is that okay? Like, there's like 613. If I just skip on this one, is that okay? Like 612, is that okay? It's good, 612. What if I just like do like, if 612 is okay, can I just like, make it like a round number, like 600? Oh, I don't even have to do 600, Rabbi, right? Because we don't have the Beit HaMikdash. So technically, it's like, what, like 60? So since you already gave me a discount of 13, can I just go from 60 to 47? And 47 is such an ugly number, Rabbi. Why don't we just make it a nice 40, like a 40. Rabbi, 40, it's big. I'm just a little guy. I'm just a little girl. Too much for me. I want to make a 4. 4 is good. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said you're disgusting. Why? You find my mitzvot disgusting. You're trying to shortchange them. You're trying to lower them. I find you disgusting. When you find my mitzvot disgusting, I find you disgusting. And that's just the beginning. And he tells us how much we will suffer as a result of it. And if we don't do tshuva despite all of this, and he rebukes us again and again and we don't do it, ואם בזאת לא תשמעו לי, והלכתם עמי בקרי, והלכתי עמכם בחמת קרי. ואסרתי אתכם אף אני 7 על חטאותיכם, ואכלתם בשר בניכם ובשר בנותיכם תאכלו. He says in verse 27 of last week's parasha Bechukotai, chapter 26 of Leviticus, Vayikra, if despite this you will not heed me, and you behave towards me with casualness, meaning you do my mitzvot whenever you feel like it, the problems in the world, you're going to say, no, coronavirus, no, it's not a punishment. It's just, it's nature. It's nature. The menace said so. It's nature. God doesn't punish. God only loves. Kadosh Baruch Hu says, if you treat me with casualness, I will behave with you with the fury of casualness. And Chazal explains that he's going to make it so obvious that he's punishing you that even the biggest atheist in the world is going to say there's a one God in the world that's running it. But it's going to be too late. He says the fury of casualness. What happens with fury of casualness? What happens when Hashem is disgusted by us? He says, I will chastise you, even I, 7 ways for your sins. What do I mean, even I? Of course it's you. He says, even I, you called me on Baal Chesed, I only love. Yeah, even I, with all the love, I'm going to chastise you in a way that you never thought is imaginable. What kind of torture? You will eat the flesh of your sons, and the flesh of your daughters will you eat. I will destroy your lofty buildings and decimate your sun idols, and I will cast your carcasses upon the carcasses of your idols, and my spirit will reject you. Hashem yishmor v'yatzil. The starvation that he could bring us, and he has brought us to in the past, as a result of being disgusted by us, because we were disgusted by his mitzvot, was literally starvation where the parents ate their kids. This happened multiple times during history. It happened in the Beit HaMikdash, the first one, and the second one, and it even happened during the Holocaust. When people say stupid things like, no, God doesn't punish, he only loves, there's no such thing as punishment, that's the Satan. I said, did you ever read the Torah once in your life? Like one time, once. Like not even with commentary, just literally just one time, anything. Like where did you get this from? Which planet did you get this ideology from? Because it doesn't exist. Now the problem is that a lot of people either don't read, or they're so ignorant to reality that they start creating a new reality. And they start programming themselves to reject the truth. Like this Rasha Merusha that we had over there with the CD distribution, that he himself is a big sinner, and he could not tolerate hearing the truth to such an extent that he rejected it completely, even for other people. Now, what does the Torah say about such a person that does not only does not accept the truth, but rejects it for other people? Now, there are two parashot in the Torah that are called the parashot of rebuke, the heavenly rebuke. There is parashat Bechukotai, and then there's parashat Kitavo. In parashat Kitavo, we have a section of this parasha that talks about same thing like we just spoke about, Hashem punishing if we don't listen to His Torah, starvation, famine, horrible, horrible, horrific, horrible, horrible, horrible. But then towards the end of the parasha, we have to the beginning of the parasha, we have a section where Am Yisrael gathers together on two mountains. Half the tribes goes on one, the other half goes on the other. Half the tribes says blessings, the other half says curses. And everything they say, the whole nation, millions of people, say Amen. Now guess what? This is still being done today in heaven. When you do a mitzvah, they're saying Amen. You do good things, they're saying Amen. You do bad things, the curses come true, say Amen of what's going to happen to such a person. Now, such curses, they say that accursed is the man who will make a graven or molten image, an abomination of Hashem, a craftsman's handiwork, and then places it in secret, and the entire people shall speak up and say Amen. Now, this person's Arul. Arul is such a person that makes idolatry. Arul is the worst curse in the Torah. The first thing to get cursed with this worst curse in the Torah is the snake, the serpent. Where Adam HaRishon said, it was because of the woman you gave me, so Hashem punished him. Chava said, it's because of the serpent, Hashem punished her. The snake, the serpent, Hashem didn't even talk to him. He said, Aru, you're cursed. You cursed you forever. You're going to eat whatever, anything you want, you can eat. Just don't ever talk to me. Don't pray to me. So you just gave the guy $1 trillion zillion. Gave him all the money well. He pretty much, everything is his parnasah. How is that a curse? Not praying to Hashem is a curse. Not talking to Hashem is a curse. Not connecting to Borei Barach is the biggest curse there is. It's the biggest curse there is. Because part of our purpose, our hope is connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the snake got this curse of Aru. And a person that makes idolatry also got the curse of Aru. Someone who degrades his father and mother is cursed. And the entire people shall say Amen. Aru, makle avi ve'imo ve'amar kol ha'am Amen. Imagine, the tribes are all saying, this person is cursed. He has cursed his parents. And the whole millions of people, much louder than me, they all scream at the top of the lungs, Amen. Imagine this person has cursed his parents. What he feels like, what like a nothing he feels like. Like he doesn't even know what hole to dig himself in. The whole world just said, you're cursed. You must put me in Gehenom. Can't say I don't care anymore. Can't say there's just so much fakeness you can take. So much show you can have. So such a person is cursed. Next it says, Arur mashge iver baderech ve'amar kol ha'am Amen. Cursed is a person who causes a blind person to go astray on the road. The guy doesn't know what he's doing. Say, listen, this guy good business? I can do business with him. You know the guy's a thief. Yeah, he's the best, because you know he's going to give you a kickback. You're going to bring customers to the thief. So you bring the lamb to the wolf. Aru. You know the guy's a thief, and you're still giving him business? You're cursed. Cursed. And the whole nation. What's the whole nation? Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe, Aaron, David, Shlomo, all of the tzaddikim, all Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Eliezer ben Hokenos, Rabbi Meir Balanes, the Baalei Tosfot, all of them, the Baal Shem Tov, all of them in Shamayim are saying, this guy's cursed. Everyone says amen. Now, Baruch Hashem, I don't think any of you are cursing your parents. I don't think any of you are doing unethical business. I don't think any of you are worshipping idols. The question is, did we ever go against the Torah? That's the question. Why? Because sometimes we don't even realize what we're doing. We make comment on the internet. No, don't listen to this rabbi. He's extreme. He yells a lot. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear this yelling. The music is too loud in this video. They have to make a public comment because the music is too loud for the video, for them. Everybody else doesn't complain, but for them, they have to complain. No, don't listen to this lecture, is boring. There's a better one somewhere else with this rabbi. You should listen to this other rabbi. He speaks about, I don't know, Shedim or something. And you should listen to him. He's a Kabbalist. Now, you think it's a good suggestion to do, publicly. Let's see what it says. ארור אשר לא יקים את דברי התורה הזאת, לעשות אותם ואמר כל העם אמן. Accursed is the one who will not uphold the words of this Torah to perform them, and the entire people shall say amen. Rabotai Yekarim, Chazal explained to us that anyone that goes against the Torah, to stop its dissemination, to stop its publication, to stop its glory, to slow it down, to tell people, do not take this CD, don't watch this shiur. And it's a real shiur, it's not a heretic. Real shiur Torah, real information, to get people to do tshuva. You say, no, don't do it. Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, David, Moshe Rabbeinu, Aaron HaKohen, Shlomo HaMelech, Noach, Adam HaRishon, Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Eliezer ben Hokenos, all of the tzaddikim you've ever heard of and the ones you didn't hear of. The 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva are all screaming in Shamayim on this person that stopped the CDs from being disseminated in Lakewood, New Jersey, and any other place. All of them at that moment said Arur. And they all said Amen. The curse is not for me, Chas v'Shalom. I feel bad for such a person. A person that makes a negative comment against a real shiur Torah, whether it's by me or somebody else, doesn't make a difference. A bad public comment, or says Lashon Hara about a serious rabbi, or says bad things about the Torah, you don't understand what you're doing to yourself. You at that moment, at that very second, you put yourself in a category of Arur. In so many words, there's no one worse than you in the world. At that moment. Now you can do tshuva. You can fix it. For sure you can fix it. But if you leave things, he's just exaggerating, he's this, he's that, okay, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Go, be a hero. Play against fire of Torah. Keep going. And that's the problem with that. People don't take this stuff seriously. They think, it's exaggerating, it's this, it's that. Not so much. Now, many times things are said in the name of Chachamim, in the name of Tzaddikim, that they didn't say. What we try to do is to quote places where they did say what they said. Because many times you see how in this generation, they minimize some of the things that the sages said to such a point, they make them look like puppies. Like for some reason, most people know the version of the Chafetz Chaim or the Lubavitcher Rebbe are like Care Bears or something. as if they never rebuked, as if they never said the truth to the people. Now, anyone that actually reads their work sees something completely opposite. Like, not even close to the personification that you see in the world. Oh no, Chafetz Chaim never spoke anything bad about any Jew. What are you talking about? There's one guy by the name of Adam Cohen that the Chafetz Chaim cursed every single day in his tefillah publicly. Every single day. Made a loud word. Adam Cohen, Yimach Shemo v'Zichro. Every day. Chafetz Chaim. Now, if you read the Chafetz Chaim Sefer Ala Torah, you see that the entire Sefer is predominantly focused on two things. One, the obligation to rebuke. The obligation to rebuke other Jews that are sinning. Second, the obligation to uphold the Torah, to invest into the Torah, to invest into doing kiruv, to invest into getting Talmidei Chachamim to learn Torah. The entire book, this whole thing, from Chafetz Chaim, main thing, these two topics. All of his speeches that were written down, that's what it talks about, constantly. Rebuke and financing the Torah, upholding the Torah, publicizing the Torah. Most people think that the entire life of Chafetz Chaim, he just told people don't talk, it's Lashon Hara, that's it. Like, that's the only thing he ever said. You told people, yeah, but Chafetz Chaim was adamant about rebuking people. He rebuked people constantly. No, Chas v'Shalom, Chafetz Chaim. No, he's not like you. No, he didn't even teach Musar. Did you ever read, do you know how to spell Chafetz Chaim? In English, in Hebrew? You ever see any of his books? Read anything other than a pamphlet? So what did he say? He says, if upholding the Torah, which means to invest in it money, to invest in it time, to invest in it resources, whatever you have the ability to do. If you have money, you invest money in it. How much? A lot. Priority number one. So much so, you should treat the Chafetz Chaim writes in Allah Torah in his Sefer, you should treat the Torah like it's one of your kids. You have 5 kids, make it kid number 6. In reality, you should invest more than your kids in the Torah. But at the very least, you should invest just as much into the Torah as you do into one of the kids. How much in today's world in America? It costs $1 million to get the kid from 0 to graduation. Torah, you should also invest $1 million. Yeah, but I don't have it. Okay, so pray for it. Pray for it. Why? It's an obligation. It's not a suggestion. And that's what he talks about. He says, if it's such an obligation to lachzik the Torah, to uphold the Torah, how come we don't make a bracha for it? How come there's no blessing, Baruch Ata Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, al achzakat the Torah? How come we make a blessing for limud Torah in the morning? But we don't make a blessing for every time we give $500, $1,000, $5, whatever it is, to Bezrat Hashem, to publicize Torah. How come we don't make a bracha? Baruch Ata Hashem, investing in Bezrat Hashem. Like, how come there's no blessing for it? So there's a Chacham named Rabbi Menashe Cohen, Shichyeh, who wrote a Sefer that goes over the details of all the mitzvot that Chazal did not institute a blessing for. There are many blessings that we have, but there are many things that we have we didn't make a blessing for. That you would think we would have a blessing for it. So in his Sefer, he sums up the different mitzvot. There are mitzvot, but we don't make a blessing for it. And there are rules of why. So first rule of why there's no blessing is that blessings are only instituted when a person is completing the actual mitzvah and not just doing it. So for example, we don't make a bracha, we don't make a blessing on building the sukkah. You build a sukkah, you don't make a blessing for it. If you made a blessing for it, it's bracha levatala. You use Hashem's name in vain. There's no blessing for building a sukkah. Yeah, but it's really hard. Still no blessing. What's the blessing for? For sitting in a sukkah. Once you sit in a sukkah and you have the meal, then you make a blessing. But to build a sukkah, no blessing. No blessing. Why? Because the building the sukkah is the process. The sitting in the sukkah is the end goal. So in order for something to have a blessing, we have to be actually involved in the end goal, not in just doing it. So when it comes to upholding the Torah, the process, the upholding the Torah, investing into the Torah, this is the process. When you invest money into the Torah, you donate money for the Torah, that's the process, to keep the Torah going, to keep going to more people, to more chidushim, more sfarim, more this, more videos, more good stuff. You are investing in the process. Learning the Torah itself, that's the execution. But, a very big but, we do make a blessing for learning the Torah in the morning, Birkot HaShachar. So when you make the blessing for the Torah, there's 3 blessings in the morning that you make. The blessings of the Torah, you're supposed to have in mind that this blessing for fulfilling the Torah, for learning the Torah, is also for upholding the Torah. That if you're going to make a donation that day, this blessing also counts for that. If you're going to help a Talmid Chacham that day, this blessing also counts for that. Now, the tool on in Yoreh De'ah, Siman 246, says, Kol Yisrael chayav b'limud Torah, b'talmud Torah, u'mi shelo yodea lilmod. He goes into it, he says, all of Israel are obligated to learn Torah, and whoever doesn't know how to learn at all, he's illiterate, if you will, or is limited with time. He's a very big businessman, has no time to breathe, and he's not able to learn Torah full time. Everybody's obligated to learn somewhat to know how to be a Jew. Don't mistake this by thinking you could just pretty much finance your way to Gan Eden. You have to know basics in order how to keep Shabbat, in order how to keep kashrut. But you can't learn full time. You can't become a Talmid Chacham. You're working, which is the vast majority of society. So the tool says that everyone is obligated to learn Torah, but someone who is limited with time or doesn't know how to learn must give his sustenance to those who do learn, and could count it, and they would count it for him as if he learned himself, as it says in Deuteronomy 33:18, V'lizvulun, and to Zvulun it says, rejoice, O Zvulun, in your excursions, and Yisachar in your tents. Where if the money that the person is working for, he's using it to invest into Yisachar, to someone who's learning Torah, that's it. It's like he's learning Torah himself. You take your money, you work hard, you make your whatever you make your money for the thing, but you invest your money on a regular basis. You give your maaser, or your chomesh, or your tzedakah, whatever it is. You constantly give it for publicizing of Torah. You give it to kiruv, whether it's to CDs, or Talmidei Chachamim, or shiurim, or whatever it is, to publicize more Torah in the world, and a good Torah that gets people to actually get closer to Hashem and do tshuva. It's like you learn Torah. You're partner with this other person that you're investing in, with this organization that you're investing in. You're partners with them. How much partners? Depending on how much you're doing versus them. You can't buy $5 worth of eBay stock and think that you're going to be the majority shareholder. You have to be realistic. But the point is that if you invest, you put your all, you get even more so than what you would get in a stock, if you will, in the real world. But even more so, what I actually learned for this shiur was something really scary, is that if a person doesn't learn Torah, now you woke up in the morning, and he did Birkot HaShachar. He keeps mitzvot, he keeps Shabbat, stuff like that. But as you would have, he didn't learn Torah that day. He doesn't learn. Now that's not good. Now the Torah said, give you a way out. It says, if you don't learn, give money for Torah. Because that way, you just donated $100 to Bezrat Hashem. You just donated to a Talmid Chacham. You just donated some money. That money is in essence like you bought Torah for that day. You bought Torah for that day. That you did something good. Now what if you don't? What if you don't learn and you don't invest in Torah? It says here, Rabotai, Rabbi Ephraim explains it. It says if the person doesn't learn and doesn't donate, it's like the bracha is levatala. It's a sin that he made the original blessing of Birkot HaShachar, because now it's saying Hashem's name in vain. Why? Because you blessed for something that doesn't exist. You made a blessing for the Torah, but you didn't learn it. And you could have made up for it if you would actually invested in Torah that day. You didn't invest in Torah, and you didn't learn. Now it turns into a sin. Which sin? One of the 10 commandments. Shem Yerachem. So rule number 1 is that a person has to be involved in the actual action itself and the end act itself. And the Yerushalmi in Masechet Sukkah Perek Dalit in Perek 4 Halakha number 4, it says this specific verse from Parashat Kitavo, Deuteronomy 27:26. Arur asher lo yakim et divrei haTorah azot. Now it says, what if a person did learn Torah? He learned Torah. Does he still have the obligation to finance Torah? He learns Torah. He goes to a kollel. He's a rabbi. He learns. So do I still have an obligation to invest in Torah? This is the killer for this guy that stopped the CDs, because it's very likely that guy's a rabbi. At least the way he looked. Very likely. Now it says here the following. A person that learned and reviewed his learning, meaning this guy's a serious Talmid. He learned serious, not just like goes and with the guys, Parashat Shavua, by the time you finish Birkat Hamazon. Serious learner. He learned, he reviewed, and on top of it, he taught Torah. He teaches the public. Gives shiurim. But has the ability to support Torah and doesn't. He has the ability to support Torah with money. He has the ability to support Torah by inviting a guest rabbi to his community to give chizuk that he can't do or he's not doing. But when they said, listen, can you bring Rabbi Reuven? Can you bring Rabbi Mizrahi? No, it's not for us. It's not for us. Yeah, but there's a bunch of guys that say it is for us. We get at least 500 people to show up. No, it's not for us. He's not investing in it monetarily. He's stopping people from getting the CDs. He's not letting them come to the community. The Gemara in Yerushalmi, like I said, Perek Dalet, Halakha Dalet, 4:4. A person that learned, reviewed, and taught Torah, but has the ability to support Torah, and does not, he is therefore arur. Meaning, even if you're a rabbi and a big rabbi, and you teach Torah, you're not missing Torah yourself as far as what you're learning, but you have the ability, you're put in a position where you could support Torah by inviting a good speaker to give chizuk to your keilah, by supporting it monetarily, or simply by staying out of the way and letting them give the Torah for free for people, and you don't, you get in the way. Guess what? All of your Torah goes to the garbage. Why? You have now the same klala, the same curse as the snake. Aru. The worst klala in the Torah. And who says amen to this klala? Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe, Aaron, David, Shlomo, Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Eliezer ben Hokunos, Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, Rabbi Meir Baal HaNes, Rabbi Shimon, all the giants of the world. Your rabbi that died already 20 years ago, he's saying amen to it also. Your parents that died 50 years ago, they're saying amen to it also. All of Klal Yisrael is saying amen to it. Right? You got in the way of the Torah. And when everybody's in Shamayim, Olam HaEmet, there's no more fakery. No, but he's my son. No, but he's my brother. No, he's a good guy really inside, really deep. There's none of that there. There's none of that. Now, when a person understands the value of Torah and to invest in it, he understands why Arav Bakshi Doron, Alav Shalom, who just passed less than a month ago, he had a yeshiva. And there were times that people didn't donate money to the yeshiva. What did he do? He had his assistant says, go to the bank, I told him to give you money. So you could pay the guys. But Rabbi, we didn't get any money this month. Go over there. Yeah, that's money. The guy goes, they gave him the money in the bank. What does he find out? He looks at the receipt. Where did it come from? The Rav Bakshi Doron's personal account. Just because the yeshiva didn't get any money doesn't mean that the Bachurim are not going to get paid. Why? We have to invest in Torah. What do you mean? Yeah, but for the Rav, you were one of the Gdolei Ador. You were the Rishon LeZion for 10 years. From 93 to 2003. Leminyanam. You're not missing any Torah. What are you investing into Talmidei Chachamim? He goes, what's my obligation? My obligation to invest into Torah. My obligation is not a recommendation. It's an obligation. Now, rule number 2 of brachot, we don't make blessings on a mitzvah that is actually a repentance on our own sins. When you do tikkun abrit, for example, you want to do tikkun abrit. You know yourself, you know how many times you violated your brit, either with somebody or by yourself. You go on our website, you press tikkun abrit, it says what the Zohar Kadosh says every time somebody violated their brit, went with a nidah, went with a married woman, all these different things, it's tikkunim for it. Now, aside from stopping, aside from putting yourself in a situation where you're never going to go and do that again, aside from learning about this, you have to do tikkunim if you want to really purify your neshama. Doing tikkunim is expensive. Doing tikkunim is expensive. But regardless of how much money, you have some guys that, mamash, every time they have a chance, they send $100, $200, $300, $500 to do tikkunim because they want to purify their neshama. And they're seeing a huge blessing. What? They're getting more money all of a sudden. They're spending more money on mitzvot, but they're getting more money in parnasah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu pays cash right away. Now, a person like this, smart, continues to do it. Why? Because he sees HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants this mitzvah. So how come if he wants this mitzvah, we don't make a blessing on it? Because if this mitzvah is a tshuva, you're repenting for something, there's no blessing. Hence the reason of why a person does not make a blessing for giving tzedakah for Torah. Why? Because in essence, this tzedakah that you're giving to finance kiruv, to finance Torah, is your tshuva for the sins you made. Because in reality, you were supposed to be learning yourself, not buying a Talmid Chacham. In reality, you were supposed to be completely perfect from the minute you were born, no sins ever. But now you're buying more CDs so people can do tshuva, so it can make up for your sins. Just like Sefer Yechezkel said to us. So, that's another reason of why we don't make a blessing on it. It's similar to, for example, Kriyat Shema al Hamitah or Mayim Achronim. In Kriyat Shema al Hamitah, we don't say bracha on it. Mayim Achronim, we don't say bracha on it. Mayim Rishonim, before we eat, we do bracha. Mayim Achronim, we don't do bracha. Kriyat Shema al Hamitah, we don't do bracha. How come? Because Kriyat Shema al Hamitah and Mayim Achronim are two examples of specific mitzvot that are there to protect you from bad stuff. Protect you from bad stuff. Now, the Mayim Achronim initially is because in the old days, the Gemara says they used to clean their hands with salt of the Dead Sea. And if you didn't pay attention and touch your eyes, you could go blind. Because the salt was so strong. So Mayim Achronim was like, wash your hands so there's no salt on it so you don't go blind. So protect you from it. But since it's already been part of our custom for a very, very long time, we don't remove it. Mayim Achronim is still chovah. But what about Kriyat Shema al Hamitah? Kriyat Shema al Hamitah protects you while you go to sleep at night. So you don't have these awful dreams of you being intimate with somebody that's not a human being. No, it's my wife in a dream. It's not your wife. It's the Satan's wife pretending to be yours. No, it's my husband. No, it's not your husband. It's Satan's wife pretending to be your husband. You can pretend whatever they want. No, it's Moshe Rabbeinu. Yeah, in your dreams. Literally. I will tell you, there's a reason why Shulchan Aruch says if a person has a dream, a sensual dream, and they wake up and their wife is right next to them, they're not allowed to touch them. And if they do touch them anyway, some Chachamim say it's like mamzer came from that. Not allowed. Why? You have to calm down from the dream until you completely remove all the feelings of arousal from that dream, then you're allowed to be with your wife. Why? Because who you were aroused by was not your wife. No, but she looked exactly like my wife and she even said, honey. Yeah. They could do a lot of things in dreams. So Shema al Hamitah protects you from that stuff. You do Shema al Hamitah, serious kavanah, protects you from that stuff. So that's another thing. Now, the Maharsha says in Masechet Sanhedrin, page 23, that the mitzvah of tzedakah for Talmidei Chachamim is so significant, and for financing Torah is so significant, that even Achav, the Gemara says in Masechet Sanhedrin that Achav was Rasha Merusha, one of the wicked kings of Am Yisrael, Oved Avodah Zarah Mamash, worshipped idols, got other people to worship idols. As wicked as he was very, very generous with any Talmid Chacham you would see. See, Rabbi, here, let me buy your house, give me a house. It's already, the shopping is done for him every week, cleaning lady, everything. He sees Talmid Chacham, gives them a bunch of money, like generous. Not like gives them $100 or $1,000, but Rabbi, whenever I call you, answer. No, not one of those. Like, Mamash, gives them enough, like, spoils them. Chachamim say in the Gemara, as wicked as Achav was, he was very smart with his money, so much so that his tzedakah to the Talmidei Chachamim wiped out half of his sins. I wish my tzedakah wiped out half of my sins. Wipe out half of your sins, Hashem Ishmael, what an investment. Who's guaranteeing us half of our sins are being wiped out? Half of your sins. Imagine, the biggest Rasha in the world. Now, of course, we're not Rashaim like him. So imagine how much our investments in the Torah are worth. Because we don't have to wipe out murdering and killing and idol worship like he did. So imagine, every time you invest into Kiruv, every time you invest into the Torah, imagine how much you're wiping out from the past. So now, you have yourself a situation where Chachamim are telling you that investing in Torah is a very, very big deal. And in the Gemara Masechet Brachot, it says anyone that hosts a Talmid Chacham and supports him monetarily is like a person that's bringing many korbanot tamid to the Bet HaMikdash, because the korban tamid was for tshuva, for a person's personal matters. And on the pasuk from Isaiah 1:21 that says tzedek yalin bo, Rashi says that righteousness is lodged in her. This is referring to that no one in Yerushalayim would go to sleep with would be full of sins. Why? Because there was two korbanot. There was the morning tamid and the afternoon tamid. And because of that, these korbanot cleaned up people's sins. So when somebody is investing in Torah, in essence, they're cleaning up all their sins. So with that being said, if it was so easy, how come not everybody's doing it? If it was so easy to clean up all my sins, how come there's not a whole line of people lining up to invest in Torah now? You could do a lot of things. Achav did horrible things, and he cleaned up half of his act. How come people are not lining up? So, the Chafetz Chaim says something very interesting. He says on the Sefer Bereshit, chapter 32, verse 26, Parashat Vayishlach, says that there was a fight between the Sar of Esav and Yaakov. It says, Vayiga bekaf yerecho, v'tika kaf yerech Yaakov. And he struck the socket of his hip, so Yaakov's hip socket was dislocated. So on this verse, the Chafetz Chaim gives commentary where he says, in the beginning, the Yetzirah went against Talmidei Chachamim. What do you say? Nah, don't learn, go to work. No, come on, who could survive on a couple thousand shekels a month? It's not even a couple $1,000. No, come on, who needs to read? You can read at home and make money. What do you need? And he goes against the Talmidei Chachamim. He goes against them. He goes against the rabbi who's doing kiruv. He goes against the kiruv. He goes. No, why? Don't do it. Don't do it. Do something else. Go make money and give somebody else to do it. You know how many times I got emails and phone calls and meetings? Rabbi, listen, you have such a talent to make money. Why don't you go back to Wall Street and pay somebody else to do kiruv? You know how many yetzara like that I got? Every week I get one of those. Rabbi, I think you're making a mistake. Sometimes they make it public on YouTube and Facebook. Rabbi, I think you're making a mistake. I love your story. Everything is great. It's really motivational, but I think you did enough. I need you to go back to Wall Street, make a few $100 million again, and pay somebody else to do kiruv. Malash, malach hamavit on a silver platter. Silver platter. Shtabach shimo. Now, Yetzirah goes to Talmidei Chachamim first. Nah, don't learn. No, come on, do something else. But once he sees it doesn't work, the Chafetz Chaim says, I'm going to get him somewhere where it hurts. At least I'll leave some damage. So where does he go? He goes against the hip. He goes against the donors. Chafetz Chaim says, in every generation we see that although there is Talmidei Chachamim, they're always struggling. The donation is always struggling. Why? Because the Yetzirah got us. Where does he go? He doesn't get to Talmidei Chachamim. Talmidei Chachamim, Baruch Hashem, they're going. Some of them are willing to die for the Torah. But what do they constantly have a problem with? The people that have money. Oh, I want to build a yeshiva. No, there's enough yeshivot, Rabbi. What do you need another one for? Another one, another yeshiva? What's the difference about yours? Has your name on it? Come on, Rabbi. Wait. It's not good to be arrogant, Rabbi. Who said? Rabbi, kiruv, there's enough kiruv. You have Chabad, you have Eish, you have this, you have Beish, you have stuff. It's enough, Rabbi. Go to Wall Street. We need more business people. We need more business people. Constant. That's what the Yetzirah does. Yetzirah works really, really hard to try to go against that, to break it completely. Now, part of the reason is because there's not enough people listening to the emet. In fact, there's more than enough people listening to what they think is emet, but is as far from it as you could possibly think. Now, there's a lot more that the Chafetz Chaim said, but we're not going to be able to cover all of it. But already you can see that the Chafetz Chaim spoke very strongly about people that did not uphold the Torah. They were called Arur and so on. But what about one of the tzaddikim that I believe is suffering the most out of everybody in the last 30, 40 years, maybe if not ever, right now, from his Talmidim? And I'm talking about the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Alav Shalom. I personally think, and I know that some of his Talmidim that I spoke to, serious Talmidim, not the crazy ones, they agree. He's suffering right now. Why? Can't believe what happened with these people that call themselves followers. If you look at what he built and what it is today, you're looking at two different worlds. People are saying all types of nonsense in his name on a regular basis, and they've turned him into some type of some people turn him into God, some people turn him into a Messiah, some people told him into somebody that just pretty much never spoke the emet. Never spoke the emet. Now, I'm not going to pretend like I'm some Chabadnik that knows everything by heart. I know a few that do. But I did review a few things, and I'm going to go over a few things, and you tell me if you ever heard this from Chabad. Now, everyone knows that Chabad has had 7 Admorim. You have the Admor HaZaken, the Baal HaTanya, that's the foundation of Chabad. And then you had 6 Admorim, completing with the Arav Yosef Yitzchak Schneerson was the 6th one, and Arav Menachem Mendel Schneerson was the last Chabad Admor. And there was a letter that the 6th Admor of Chabad wrote that the Lubavitcher Rebbe, the one that is the most famous, the most recent one, wrote a whole sefer about. And just reviewing a little bit of it with my Rav, you see how much of a distortion there is between the real Chabad and what we have that's general information today. Now, this sefer which is called Ma'amarim Bati Legani. This is a sefer that's in essence the Lubavitcher Rebbe's sefer, based on the letter of the one that preceded him, his father-in-law. And this is like the second Sefer Torah, if you will. The second oral Torah for Chabad. You know, there's really the Tanya. Tanya, that's like Kodesh Kodeshim. But for the most recent ones, you know, the ones that lived at the time of Tanya, they didn't know the Chabadnik of today, the Lubavitcher Rebbe of today. But the ones that live today, this is it. This is it. This is like their Tanakh. But how many of them are actually reading it and complying with what it says? I don't know many. And this is what it says. In page 4, in Bati Legani, in the Sefer over here, in the Sefer Ma'amarim Bati Legani, page 4, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Alav Shalom, asked the question, how is it possible that a person comes to sin? Simple question. How could a person actually get to a point of sinning? How dare he sin? Like, what is on your mind that you're sinning? That's the question in essence. Like, how could you get to such a point, such a lowly level of sinning? And he says this, and this answer is better than the question. Because he imagines that he's still connected with Hashem despite his sin, because he figures that he'll do some good things later, like tzedakah. Not realizing that the sin separates him from Hashem, and if he knew the truth as it really is, he would not do such a thing under any condition. The Lubavitcher Rebbe B'chvodo B'atzmo writes over here, you think that you're part of Am Yisrael? Why? Because you gave some tzedakah? Because you went to some party and ate some sufganiyot? Because you got an aliyah? Because you donated some money? You're as separated from Hashem as it could possibly be. Just one time you violated Shabbat. One time you violated Shabbat on purpose, you're separated from Hashem. One time you ate taref on purpose, you're separated from Hashem. But he says the proof that people are ignorant about this is that kosher people fail here. When they get tested, where you see that these kosher people, when they get tested with big sins, like idolatry, he's willing to sacrifice his life for it. He's not going to go worship some idol. You go ask any Chabadnik today, tell him, go worship Yoshke. No, Mapito, are you crazy? Or am I goy? When am I idol worshiper? Mapito. No, I'll give you $1 million. He goes, give it to your mother $1 million. I'm not going to go worship an idol. Are you crazy? The Lubavitcher says, even someone who's a criminal of Israel, Poshei Israel, the criminals of Israel are willing to make life sacrifices just in order not to break the tools that connect them with Hashem. Even if a guy's a Mechalel Shabbat, he tell him, go worship Yoshke, go worship Buddha. He'll tell you, go worship, your mother go worship. What are you talking about? Don't talk to me like this. What am I, goy? I'm not going to destroy my connection with Hashem. I'm not an idol worshiper. Yet they don't realize that they're breaking these tools anyway with the sins, like breaking their Shabbat, the Brit, the eyes, every time they look somewhere they're not supposed to. They're breaking their tools that connect them to Hashem anyway. Why? How do the kosher people and the criminals make the same mistake? The Lubavitcher Rebbe writes, he says, because the Ruach Shtut tells him, I'm still Jewish. Even though he's separating himself from the Holy One, blessed be He. And the Sitra Achra makes him not feel that it's happening. Just like a cover on a skin. It says the job of the Sitra Achra is not to just make you go sin, but to numb your pain. Because in reality, you separating from the source of all truth should be the most painful thing you can possibly imagine. Much worse than Gehenom could ever be, much worse than Kafakela, much worse than somebody chopping you up to 50 million pieces. Separating from Hashem for a second should be the most painful thing in the world. But what does the Sitra Achra do? The sources of Tumah, of impurity do? It numbs the pain. It makes the person think, no, you're doing a mitzvah. Didn't you just donate 100,000 last year? Aren't you planning on donating another? So what? You drive. No, you need to make money. No, come on. Drive on Shabbat. What? You're going to make money on Shabbat to donate the money. The mitzvah. Mitzvah, you're a tzaddik. They write books about people like you. The Sitra Achra numbs the pain, makes them think you're still Jewish. You're not the rabbi. Don't pretend to be the rabbi. You make money, the rabbi learns. You're just making some money on different days. Whenever Hashem gave it to you, listen, if Hashem didn't want to give it to you, why did he give it to you on Shabbat after all? He gave it to you. It's Hashem's fault. Blame Hashem. Man has told you, blame Hashem, right? The Sitra Achra numbs your pain, makes you think you're still Jewish. Why? Because you have a few good things that you do. And this is from the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Don't say it's me. You haven't complained about me. Go complain to the Lubavitcher Rebbe. You go to the grave. It's in Brooklyn. They have lots of letters. Next time you write letters, dear Lubavitcher Rebbe, Yaron Reuven says this in your name. Is it true or not? The Lubavitcher Rebbe is going to spit out. Here you go. Here's a book. It's called Bati Legani. Here you go. Read the book. Read it yourself. Don't blame him. On page 46, says a person who makes, the Lubavitcher Rebbe says a person who makes shogeg sin, accidental sin. It's an accident, right? No damage. Wrong. That sin still allows the entry of the Ruach Shtut that covers the natural divine feeling that all of Israel have, that do not want nor can live without the divinity. Yet, due to this Ruach Shtut that covers him and numbs his pain, he imagines that despite this sin, since it's accidental, despite the sin that he's committing, his Judaism is still intact. Here he's talking about accidental sin, still caused damage. And the only reason you don't think it's a big deal is because the Ruach Shtut that came into you, the Sitra Achra, the Klipa that's on you, all these impure powers are numbing the pain. You think it's okay? No, you're still Jewish. Look, you have a nice beard. You got a few gray hairs too. Chazak u'baruch. You're like a wise one now already. You're a sage. You're a sage. 3 gray hairs in your beard, you're already a sage. Chacham. Now, the Admor HaZaken, he's quoting now the Admor HaZaken, the Baal HaTanya. Says the Baal HaTanya wrote something horrific. This is my something horrific I'm adding. The rest of it he's writing. Something horrific. I always told you guys, if you ever read the Sfarim of the Tzaddikim, they make me look like a puppy. This is what he wrote. Now if he said this in any shul today, they kick him out. The Baal HaTanya wrote, a person that goes against Hashem, goes against Hashem's will, meaning bottom line makes a sin, is worse than the impure animals. Because the animals do not go against their own role in the world. And he is going against his role in the world. And therefore he is worse than the klipot and the sitra achra and the evil chayot, which is all of the evil, impure powers of the world. He's worse than all of them. Because their job is to create impurity, while his job is to create holiness. So they're at least doing their job. But him, by making sins, he's going against his role. So the Lubavitcher Rebbe continues in the letter in 57-53 in section Gimel. He says it's seemingly hard to understand why the Tanya, the Admor HaZaken, what he meant by how a person who makes a sin becomes even worse and more separated than the klipa of the sitra achra. Like, just think of the worst thing in the world. The worst filth in the world. Like, horrible. A person that sins, the Baal Tanya says, on purpose, does sins, he's worse than that. How could a person be worse than a dog, an impure animal? A Jew is worse than a dog, the Baal Tanya says. Dog is an impure animal. Baal Tanya says, you're making sins, you're violating Shabbat, you're worse than a dog. Baal Tanya, Chabad. Little cockroach, worse. May a sin, you're worse than a cockroach? Worse than a dog? What kind of rabbi are you? How did they start Chabad after you? So the Lubavitcher Rebbe clarifies. He says, how could it be that the sinner is worse than the klipot? How could it be that he's more separated? How could it be that he's controlled by a sita acha? He says, because these powers, these impure powers, they still do not go against the King of Kings. They still call HaKadosh Baruch Hu the King of Kings, the Almighty God. But you, the sinner, that's commanded to do the will of Hashem, and you forsake it, and you abandon it, you're much, much worse than them. This is real Chabad. This is how it's supposed to be. Why? That's how you build holy people. That's how you build holy people. By telling them, do not sin. Rule number 1 of Judaism, don't sin. Rule number 2, read number 1. Once you've stopped sinning, then we'll start working on mitzvot. Now working on mitzvot. Because if you see, Rabotai Karim, our Torah is very, very harsh on sinners. And when we do not understand that, we simply failed our mission altogether. And a person that goes against the Torah, goes against the Emet, the Torah calls him Arur. And the Rambam writes in Halacha, in Ilchot Shuvah, chapter 4, that there are 24 actions that a person can make that, in essence, lose their right to do tshuva. That in essence, if they want to do tshuva, they're on their own. Hashem's not going to help them. They can do tshuva. While they're alive, they can still do tshuva, but Hashem's not going to help them. Which is almost putting their situation impossible. Because the biggest thing is that you need is to have the strength to do tshuva, overcome your desires and so on. There are 24 things the Rambam says that somebody that does them, Kadosh Baruch Hu says, you're on your own. In essence, I don't want your tshuva. But if you do it, good for you. Most likely you're not going to do it. This is one of those places where very few come out alive. What is it? First thing, we're not going to go over all 24. First thing, someone who causes the masses to sin. Which includes in this category somebody who holds back many people from performing a mitzvah. It's not just you told a bunch of people, let's go to a nightclub. Let's go to some place that's full of... No! Someone came with free Torah material to your community, and you said, no, it's not for us. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, at that moment, said, the Rambam pasak le'alacha, wrote alacha over here, that means it's a rule in Shemaim also. You, my friend, are going to have a very, very hard time, virtually impossible time from doing tshuva, unless you must cry crocodile tears of blood to get out of the hole you put yourself into. For one time, stopping people from doing tshuva. One time. That's how dangerous it is. It doesn't say, if he does it 3, 4, 17 times. One time. One time's too many. Why? Because now, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 20,000 people did not get the Torah they were supposed to get. Why? Because you were a jerk. You were selfish. You were Arul. But even now you became worse than Arul. Now you're even worse. Now you're at a new level. Now Hashem doesn't even want you. Until you seriously do serious tshuva. So, when it comes to influencing other people, a person needs to know that their mouth is literally a tool either for life or for death. when you say no or yes without thinking about it, you're simply taking your life irresponsibly. Irresponsibly. You're saying, somebody says, you want to go to Shiur Torah, and you just say yes or no, just like nonchalantly, you're taking your life irresponsibly. Why? Because there's a lot of weight on that yes or no. Not just about whether you go or you don't go. How is that yes or no going to influence the audience there? How is it going to influence the person that's asking you? When you start realizing that this mouth is simply a tool for life or death, you take it more seriously before you talk. Or don't talk. Simply don't talk. It's better. Unless you know what you're going to say. Because a person that thinks, no, what's the big deal? It was a bunch of guys that were coming. I didn't know who they were. I just said, don't be here. Go somewhere else. And I bothered them for 2 hours until they left. What's the big deal? The big deal is you just put yourself in a book where Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe Rabbeinu, Aaron HaKohen, David, Shlomo, all of the tzaddikim, and so on and so on. We keep going over the same list. Why? All of them says Aru. And on top of that, there's an halakha that says he's even in a worse position than that. He's one of the 24 that, if he wants to do tshuva, miracle upon miracles has to happen. There's simply no one worse in the world other than somebody already died without doing tshuva. That's how bad it is to go against the Torah, Rabotai. And that's why we have to treat our mouth very, very carefully. Use it very carefully. It's a wonderful tool. It's a wonderful tool that if we use it wisely, we can help people do tshuva. We can help people do good things. We can bring things to life, mamash. You can simply bring things to life. You tell people the right thing to do. You tell people to do certain things. You tell people to say certain things, different things. You mamash can bring life to the world. Bring kedusha to the world. Don't destroy worlds. Destroy worlds. I mean, it's insanity how freely people speak. How much nonsense comes out of their mouth without thinking twice, and they do it publicly in the most public arena in the world, the internet. I don't think there's ever been a more public arena than the internet. People make comments on the internet without thinking twice. Just horrible, awful thing. I personally would recommend to never make any comments, period, on the internet unless they're for sure good about somebody that's for sure good. Because even if you say something good about somebody that's bad, it's still bad. Personally, I would recommend never making any comments unless you know the person really is good. But making public comments and insults and things like that, it's such a horrible place to be in. I know so many unfortunate cases where people did that freely and so many bad things happened to them. Now, I'm sure that they don't think that was one thing led to the other. But from the outside, it's very clear. When you're not in the fire, it's very clear what's burning. But they don't think that. They think it's just bad luck or bad this or bad that. And that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Ve'alachti imi bekeri. You treat me with casualness. You think that it's just bad luck, it's bad this, it's bad that. It's not. It's Hashem. It's Hashem. So, the Chazon Ish tells us that we have this wonderful tool called the mouth. And if we use this mouth carefully, then we're giving all of our organs and in essence all of creation a very, very significant meaning. On the other hand, if we don't use our mouth and we pretend to be mutes, that's not good either. Why? Because you need to communicate with your spouse, you need to communicate with your kids, you need to communicate with different things. You need to communicate. But just because you need to communicate doesn't mean you should communicate carelessly. Doesn't mean you should just say whatever comes out, whatever's on the top of your mind. Like some people say, oh, I speak my mind. Well, you shouldn't. You should think and then speak. Your mind is not always thinking clearly. Doesn't necessarily mean just because on your mind doesn't mean you need to speak it. But you should speak. You should be honest. Sometimes people are just like liars. They just tell you what you want to hear. That's not good either. So the key here is to know that we are obligated to analyze our speech no less than we're obligated to analyze all of the other organs and things we discussed in this series over the last few weeks. A Jew's job is to analyze everything. Everything. Everything you do, everything you've done, everything you plan to do, think constantly, and overly, just mamash, look at everything from a Da'at Torah perspective. Eliminate your opinion as much as possible and look for what you're looking for. Look for it in the Torah. Why? Because if it's in the Torah, for sure it's right. If it's in your mind, not so much. Not so much. And this is the key. I think that we could learn today from this. B'ezrat Hashem, on Tuesday, we will go back to Aventura. We may start a new series on Tuesday, B'ezrat Hashem. We'll see. And then Wednesday, we're back here doing our Shelot V'Tshuvot, the Stump the Rabbi. And then B'ezrat Hashem, next week, we're back to continue this series. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys got the message to be more careful, to be more cautious with your spouse, with your kids, with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with your rabbi, with everybody. Because the tool that you have, that you call the mouth, is a fantastic tool so long as you use it the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu designed it. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen ve'amen.